summon another spellcaster monster. Yes, there's more. The incredible, extraordinary, unforgettable creature known only as Relinquished. Quite a looker, huh?
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Toon Duelists. My name is Prototype, and today I got an update of the Relinquished deck profile for you guys. We've shifted the focus a little bit from ritual summoning more towards fusion summoning. I mean, we still do ritual summon, but it's not the core mechanic anymore. We try to fuse into our Millennium Ice Restrict since that's the stronger monster. And yeah, I would say let's just look at the deck. Alright guys, let's start off with our Relinquished monsters and the engine. So of course we are playing 3 copies of Relinquished. I mean, nothing much to add. This is what the whole deck evolves around. And then we are playing 3 copies of Millennium Ice Illusionist. This card is really good because as soon as your Millennium Ice Restrict here is on the field, this card becomes a hand trap. And a really strong one too. And on top of that, when you use it to ritual summon, for example, as a material, you can add it back to your hand, because whenever a Relinquished or a Millennium Ice monster gets summoned, you can add this card back from your graveyard to your hand. So yeah, this recycles really well. And then we're also playing 3 copies of the Faceless Magician. This card is really good because this card is control deck. You're not gonna OTK your opponent in one turn, and therefore you need to make sure to keep the upper hand in the grind game, and this card is a big reason for that, because when Relinquished or a Millennium Ice Restrict monster gets destroyed, you can summon this card from your hand or graveyard, and when this card leaves the field, you can summon a Millennium Ice Restrict or Relinquished from your graveyard. So, and both effects are once per turn. So it does an infinity loop, but your opponent has to basically destroy Relinquish 3 times in order to stop this loop from happening. And that's why this card is really good, and that's also why we're playing it as a 3-off in this deck here. Next up, we got the ritual stuff. So we're playing 3 copies of pre-prep, and then 3 copies of prep, and then 2 copies of the ritual spell. 2 copies is enough. We shifted the focus on this from this deck a little bit from ritual summoning to fusion summoning, since the Millennium Ice Restrict monster is stronger than Relinquished, obviously. And that's why 2 of those are enough. On top of that, with a prep, you can add it back from your graveyard to your hand. So basically you have 5 copies, which is more than enough. And pre-prep is really strong because you get to add the ritual spell and the ritual monster. This one only lets you add the ritual monster if this one is not in the graveyard, because you can only add it from the graveyard with this one. Next up, we got the fusion spells. So we are playing 3 copies of Relinquished Fusion, which is basically the best card in the deck. And then we are playing 2 copies of Magicalized Fusion, which is basically a worse version of the Relinquished Fusion, because this one is not a quick spell, and this one cannot be banished from the graveyard to equip a Relinquished monster with an opponent's monster, which a Relinquished Fusion can do. So yeah, this is basically the same card as this one, just a little bit worse. And then we're playing 1 Polymerization and 1 Instant Fusion. And now you're asking why I'm playing those ratios. Well, because we're also playing 3 copies of a Keeper of Dragon Magic, which can search those 3 cards here. It cannot search the Relinquished Fusion because it's a quick spell. This one can only search normal spells. But it can add either of those, and depending on in which situation you are, what your hand looks like, you can decide which card of those you want to add here. And then the Magicalized Fusion, we play 2 copies because this one is, like I said, also a really strong card. And if you draw into this, you're fine. Like, it's good to draw into this. You just don't want to see it twice in your hand. That's why we're playing 2 copies instead of 3. Next up, we got some consistency cards, and 3 copies of Allure of Darkness here, and 1 copy of Pot. So in testing, that's what I figured out to be the best ratios. Because after you use Pot, you cannot draw anymore, so you typically don't want to see both of them in your hand. You want to see either or, and this one doesn't block you from drawing. That's why we're playing this one as a 3-off. And you also have the space in the extra deck to play this, but you don't want to resolve multiple copies of it because you still rely on your extra deck. So that's why we're just playing 1 copy. That's, like I said in testing, was my experience, the best ratio that makes the deck more consistent and gives it draw power. And then for the non-engine, we're playing Board Breakers because this is a going second deck. We're playing 3 copies of Lava Golem, which is really good because you can tribute your opponent's monster and then summon it to your opponent's side of the field. And then you can suck it up with Relinquished or with a Millennium Ice Restrict. Then we're playing 3 copies of Super Polymerization, which is also really good because your opponent cannot chain to this card, so you can always break your opponent's board with it. And Millennium Ice Restrict takes 1 effect monster, so you can fuse into Millennium Ice Restrict when you have Relinquished on the field. And if not, then you still have the other Super Poly targets in our extra deck that we will look at in a second. And then my third Board Breaker is Change of Heart, because I love this card, and the whole theme of this deck is basically to steal your opponent's monsters, right? So obviously it fits right into the deck. If you wanna play this deck full power, then I would recommend to use Dark Ruler No More instead, because Dark Ruler No More cannot be chained to with monster effects. So your opponent cannot negate it or like prevent it from happening, basically. And this one can be negated. So if you only draw 1 Change of Heart and your opponent has an Omni Negate or a Spell and Trap Negate, then you cannot break their board. With Super Poly and Lava Golem, obviously you still can, and with Dark Ruler No More too. So for that reason, if you want to play it at full power, you need Dark Ruler No More. Like I said, I love this card and it fits right into the theme of the deck. That's why I'm deciding to play it over Dark Ruler No More.
With the Thousand Eyes, Idle, and Relinquished fused together, I've created the one, the only, the Thousand Eyes Restrict! He's quite a looker, eh? Huh?
And now to the extra deck. We're playing obviously 3 copies of the Millennium Ice Restrict, then 2 copies of Mud Dragon because of Super Polymer, because of the pot, then 2 copies of Garura also because of the pot, and then 1 copy of Dracostalia and a Fusion Dragon. If those 2 go away with the pot, not that bad, you don't need them as much. Those are your main Super Poly targets here. And then for the Link monsters, we are playing 1 Relinquished Anima, which cannot be missing in a Relinquished deck, 1 Cross Sheep, 1 Dark, 1 Celine, 1 Access Code Talker, and then 1 Dynamondo. Dynamondo, obviously a strong card in every ritual deck. And then this one here is a nice Link Climbing combo. And yeah, that's why I'm playing those cards here. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, I would really appreciate that. And let me know down in the comments what you think about the deck. I think it's stronger now than the way we had it before. At least in testing, it was way stronger. So I'm really happy with the update. And I will also upload a video from Master Duel replays. And then you guys can see the deck in action. And then you'll see that it is stronger than the version we were playing before. Alright guys, so then catch you in the Master Duel replays. Peace out.